there will be adoption. It will happen. I mean, I don't have doubts about how, but I don't have a crystal ball saying it's going to happen in the next 5 years. You see what I'm saying? Beyond 5, I can't make a prediction, but those are the areas where the focus has to be, product development has to be.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Quick 5 minutes for Q&A. One of the questions I have from Nathaniel is how does the panel see inflation affecting their work? So maybe how's inflation impacting crypto trading? I know we've seen big swings in the past month, so I don't look at my crypto portfolio much nowadays. But
I can take that very quickly, and then Pegah, Dharmendra, right? So I think there are two opposing forces as inflation. So one is cost of money becomes more expensive. So Priya earlier could borrow against her home at 2%, 3%. Now it's 6%. So she may think, hey, you know what? Do I want to swing with Bitcoin or not? Right. So some amount of speculation should go down because cost of trading, cost of capital becomes more expensive, right? What she wants to put out there. I think on the opposite side, the force is that Bitcoin, in some way, it's limited, right? So one could say, hey, you know what, there will be 40% of money that has been printed. It's inflationary in nature. I want to hedge some of my portfolio to be in crypto, right? So there is that adoption cycle, which still is in early stages. So I think these are two opposing forces which essentially will impact the crypto market.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a philosophical question at this point until we have more data. So you can sit on one side of the pond or another. And I think in a few years, we find out if crypto is inflation hedge or just moves with the rest of monetary policy and other investing assets. And I'm sure this will change over time as other use cases develop, but still the bulk of use cases is still trading. So I think I have my personal views on that. And each person will probably have their personal views. But I think with respect to, what we build and how we build products, it doesn't necessarily impact it, right? We're always cognizant of liquidity and how liquidity moves, but we're not making a bet on it. So we build all the same, but with like extra alertness of what's happening with liquidity and what do we need to make sure that we're set up.
My thoughts are, I look at it structurally, and that once you sort of segment it that way, you can then reflect in a better way. So crypto is a store of value. It depends. It will certainly be exposed to inflationary pressures like any other store of value, okay? Crypto as a exchange of value, that will not be impacted. The problem is people confuse these fundamental things. Most people's, their approach to crypto, at least from a consumer standpoint, is more of a store of value. I'm gonna put this, and it's the greater fool theory, it will keep increasing. We focus on crypto as exchange of value, not store of value. However, it's very hard to decouple because once you exchange it to crypto, it again is subject to those same inflationary pressures. Now, the question, and there was a product question that popped up, what to build? That's what you got to focus on. How do you essentially decouple store of value with exchange of value? If you can do that in a meaningful way, that's where it's at. The reason why there is a lot of buzz about USDC or any CBDCs is because, I am not, if I use that as a store of value, there will be essentially inflationary pressures. If I'm going to put, 100 grand under my mattress, yes. However, if I'm simply using $100 to change or buy products that are $100, the inflationary pressure doesn't impact me as much. And so that the key area of focus, because then you are inflation resistant, I'm not going to say inflation immune, if you can essentially figure out a way to decouple these two aspects of crypto. The biggest risk I see in the crypto world is where the store of value gets deflated and then people lose their life's worth, and then essentially brings a bad name to a technology or a framework, if you will. But if we can focus on exchange of value, which we focus on, hopefully we can do that in a meaningfully decoupled way that we can sustain it going forward. I hope that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.